Hard to believe it's been a whole year. Feels like I only just started yesterday, and also like I've been doing this forever.
You're looking for some words for where, my lord?
Do I? Am I kidding? You're right. On the other hand, you don't look like you've been lost in even an hour of sleep this entire year. Goes to show how inexperienced I really am.
While it's true that I've been in this position for many years, I also do not bear nearly as much responsibility as you. I merely stand in the background and offer you small pieces of advice. All the while you face the crowds directly, negotiate with counts, make dozens of difficult decisions. If there's one thing I've learned in all my years, is I could never begin to imagine the weight of a ruler must carry. Never mind one who has never raised to take the throne and thrust themselves in the labyrinth of politics and high society. 'Twould be a greater surprise if trials had not taken their toll.
That reminds me, Bonnier was Lord for a full decade before it took him out, wasn't he? And as I recall, it was as much of a D-spot early on. Just 1 year has taken this much out of me. How much longer before I'm no longer able to act like a reasonable human being? No, don't think like that, Jacopo. Actually, forget it. What matters is that we seem to be doing a good job minimizing discontent.
Indeed, you have successfully made it through the first year. The city is decidedly more presentable than it was when you took the throne. There are precious few who could replicate your accomplishments in such short time, my lord. You would do well to take pride in your work.
Pushing to do everything so quickly has taken its toll. The people are worn thin. Slaves are dying by the droves. There's still a ways to go before there's anything can be proud of.
Slaves are the tools of progress, my lord. Tools do not last forever, must be replaced regularly.
You can't build a house with your bare hands. I get it.
You learn quickly.
Not even a year ago, I've been up in arms by the number of slaves dying. But now, they're just numbers to me. Apparently my worldview has changed quite a bit.
It's about time we started considering our next step.
Meaning?
Meaning your efforts thus so far has merely been towards repairing the damage caused by your predecessor.
You make it sound like all this has just been warm-up.
My apologies. I did not mean to discount your great efforts, my lord. I was simply speaking of the grander scheme.
Yeah, I got that. Want to settle in a direction for how to grow the city, right?
Indeed. The status quo is vastly inadequate for bringing prosperity to this land. And there's no saying when the surrounding territories may cease being friendly and set their eyes upon conquering us. But of course, you gotta keep your eyes trained outward in fear of attack and allow the land to devour itself on the inside either.
So what you're saying is, it's a balancing act.
Precisely.
So, what kind of advancements do I want to pursue? There's something that's been on my mind. This land is ill-suited to growing crops. When I lived down in slums, I had no perspective. I figured that what we produced here was no different from anywhere else. But now, I know better. The grapes used for our wine are miserable compared to what I've been served elsewhere, as nearly everything else we grow. I can only assume the land itself is to blame.
Oh, the wine from the south is indeed exceptional. You quite nearly gave me a heart attack when you left for your chair in the middle of a meeting, shouting, "This is nothing like the wine from home."
Enough! That never happened! It was my first time tasting anything like it, alright? Anyone who would have had the same reaction.
Oh, you've grown much. Nevertheless, you're still quite green.
God, I really need to wash myself around this man.
In any case, it would be ideal if we could begin producing higher quality grapes. Not necessarily to compete with the South, but enough to be serviceable. Efforts to improve our farmland are underway, and it could take some time before we see the progress. Have you any propositions, my lord?
Actually, I was thinking it might be best to cut back on agriculture.
Do you elaborate?
What if we were to build the city up into a trade hub of sorts?
Meaning, you wish to open our gates to our neighbors?
Exactly. One thing the city has going for is its wealth of artisans. But for years we want to ever export our goods. We want to bring people here to purchase. Reduce taxes for merchants and give them special privileges. Set tariffs and border taxes lower than they are in the capital. And business would naturally find its way here. This land may be less than optimal for farming. It's more than adequate for trade. We're in a convenient location to serve as a hub for the surrounding realms. Rather than close the borders and walls themselves off entirely, opening up, making ourselves of value to our neighbors, is far more likely to dissuade potential invasion. We'll have pieces on one another's boards. Isn't that right? You said I can apply to the entire city. The best way to expand without stepping on anyone's toes is to do so in a way that benefits them as well as us. What do you think?
A rather aggressive strategy you propose, my lord. If I may be so bold, there will be many obstacles to this plan's success. You will need to arrange meetings with the head of each realm you intend to invite, the order and timing which will be crucial to success. Furthermore, the influx of outsiders will be a source of much tension among your people.
So you think I'm aiming too high?
Indeed, aiming exceedingly high. Your obstacles will be numerous and precipitous. Nonetheless, obstacles can be overcome. Your exhaustion is nothing compared to the weariness that awaits you down this path. Do be well aware of this, my lord.
You're damn right I am. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna go all in. Dolores Manor sat atop a tall hill. Gazing out, the city stretched before me. Countless columns of smoke rising from the buildings. The people scurrying about like so many ants. From up here, I had the perfect view of the bustle of the city, but it's too far away to feel the life breathing through it. Do you think I used to be one of those tiny little specks? Thousands of people live there. They have families, jobs, friends, hobbies. As much as I was cognizant of that fact, I no longer grasped it on anything more than a conceptual level. It was incredible just how much my view of the world has changed in merely a year's time. I'm going to go out into the world, I said. I thought that clawing my way to the top of the ladder would let me see it, would let me experience it. That with the power, I could have the whole world at my fingertips. But reality wasn't so simple. This sure isn't what I was looking for. Hell, I had to change this gotten tighter around my neck. There's no way to truly grasp the view from this height without climbing up and seeing it for yourself. And that was exactly where I was a year ago, blind to reality of life in the upper echelons, fantasizing about the world that didn't exist. Unlike the me of the past, I did have the satisfaction of feeling like I was accomplishing big things. Was that really worth cutting myself off from all my friends? Did those achievements really just justify a bloody revolution? Or, I suppose I should ask, was this work valuable enough for me to justify it all? Reminiscing about days long gone wasn't going to help anything. And in fact, it started to cause me pain. I couldn't return to that time. This was where my quest for power had brought me, and now I had to live out my days as lord of this land. telling myself day after day. It was far better than being a powerless slum rat. God, I've been so busy these past few weeks. My eyes are... One day, I'll show you the world.
Do you ever get tired of saying that?
You gotta think big. Dream. The world's changing all around us. Life just trying to make it day by day is hardly life at all. I don't want to spend the rest of my days confined to this tiny little corner of the world.
Well, try not to let you so big they crush you.
I'm sure I'll be fine. I just have you sing for me if it ever gets to be overwhelming.
Why would I be there?
Why wouldn't you? It's hard to show you the world if I don't bring you with me. Knowing you, you still don't know where you want to go. So I'll bring you with me. We can find a place for you together. Pretty good deal, huh?
I don't need to see that. All I want is...
Doze off for a second there. Feels like those days were an eternity ago. I don't need to see the world. All I want is what? Morgana, what were you trying to tell me?
Man, it feels like a whole different place here now.
You think? Like that same old nasty dumb it's been. Gabby.
He's talking about the whole city, adult.
Exactly. Things are on the up in the city proper, but we ain't seen a scrap of it down here. What's up with that? These shops are spun out past the city border. That means town's turned to a full-blown bazaar.
Ooh, sounds nice.
Is there anything that damn head of yours? We're saying, how come we're still living like rats if they got enough spare coin to build all that market space? How? With all these damn immigrants coming in, the slums are an even bigger shithole than before.
You know, never thought much of it till now, but you're right. The game's been a lot busier lately with a lot of drifters.
And Jacopo, Lord Barnier, he showed us mug down here even once since he took over. I mean, if the bloody Lord can't spend all day hanging out in the slums, but can at least visit. Instead, he's spending all his time buddying up with the rich folks.
And we used to be such good friends too.
What's he planning to just not bother with us at all?
I hope not, but not sure what it's looking like. I think he'd at least throw us a bone rather than lend the merchants and upper class take coin baths in his coffers. Guess why he became one of them. He became just like him, too.
Feels like we're in the exact same place we were a year ago. It's no different than old Barnier.
God. Oh, it's you. So, you find anything?
Yep, got the proof I was looking for. Be you so kind as to never give me a job like this again. I'd be hanged twice over the lawyer's front if I was sniffing around in their business.
Oh, quit being such a bitch. You didn't steal nothing or kill anyone. You're fine.
A man's secrets can sometimes be more worth than his life. Born to business. Your suspicions were correct.
Well, fuck me sideways. Use your pay. Take it and piss off.
It's in business. Hey, hold up now. I risked my neck to get that for ye. That's all I get in return?
Got a problem with that, you little bitch?
No, sir.
Don't you worry. We'll get your fair due shortly.
These construction costs are really starting to pile up. Can we put the minor repairs off until we're taking care of more pressing matters? Like using that money to help the poor?
The Lord and his residents are the face of his land. If you wish for the city to continue thriving upon the fruits of your relationships with the surrounding realms, you must maintain a minimum level of respectability, my lord. Merchants in particular are merciless judges of appearance. Of this you can be certain. No respectable merchants will do business on equal terms with a city whose lord refuses to take care of his own home.
I get that, but still, it's so much money.
These are necessary expenses. To acquire the resources required to aid the lower class, you must increase the rate of production. Efforts must begin at the top and gradually work down. You must not be in such a great rush, my lord. The work you are performing is on a much larger, longer scale than perhaps that of which you are accustomed.
You have a point. Then let the construction continue. I'm definitely coming to see just how crucial a bit of embellishment can be to surviving in high society. Every engagement is like throwing myself into a lion's den. Everyone's surrounding me, measuring me up. They question my pedigree. Some of the eyes, some of the mouths. Some even attempt to dig up dirt on me in order to tilt the scales in their favor. Oh yeah, there was that one time when I was straight up shouted at, right to my face. You know more damn noble than any of those other rats whose nest you crawled out of, if I recall. Not that he was wrong. I took the throne by force. It's only natural that people go into have their suspicions. That I came from the slums is just the icing on the cake. I'm damn lucky condescension is the worst treatment I get on a first encounter. And there are distant relatives Barnier let slip through the cracks, slithering back up to assert their right to the land. A lot more people out there to get me than I first anticipated.
Do remain strong, my lord.
I will always be strong. If I so much as let those wolves smell weakness, they'll pounce all over me. Like hell I'm gonna let that happen. I want time to work on helping the poor. I had to spend my days fending off packs of bloodthirsty nobles. I must always appear strong, under any circumstances. I, of all people, should know just how easily Lord can be dethroned. I'll be next if I leave even the slightest opening. I have to do whatever it takes to make sure that's not my future.
Perhaps you should get some rest, my lord.
Excuse me? Are you insane? I had to review the construction budget so that...
Allow me to handle that. I will get you something to drink. Perhaps a glass of that southern wine you're so fond of. It is quite sweet, perfect for alleviating a bit of fatigue.
I am not fatigued.
Come now. Please take requests from this overly concerned constable, my lord.
Fine, you win. As hard to believe it's only been a year and a half. I feel like we go way back.
Oh, we do see each other every day, after all.
Starting to crave some variety, to be honest. Never found a good opportunity to ask you this, but
Yes?
do you have any family? Because if you do, you're more than welcome to have them live here.
I appreciate your concern, my lord. They have all passed away.
All of them?
Indeed. My entire family was eradicated at the previous lord's order. Once, and only once, I offered him my humble opinion. So infuriated was he by my insolence that he had my family murdered. I would much prefer myself killed in his stead. But he was a man who reveled in others' suffering.
Are you just kept on serving him?
That is correct. I acted as loyal servant, too afraid to speak up again.
Acted?
Recall what I said when we first met. I was always sitting in wait for the perfect opportunity. Now you understand why.
Well, damn.
If I may come clean about that time, I had every intention of disposing of that Revolution's puppet master. Never once did I trust Geneva. Her foolish motives were plain as day. As the new lord's mother, she planned to control her planted usurper from the shadows, acting as effective governor of the land. Having no family left myself, the city and its people like my children. So I refused to stand by allowed to turn them into tools to satisfy their own avarice. The land would hardly survive a tyrant, swooping in to replace a tyrant. As she was removed from the board by the former lord before she had a chance to see aspirations to fruition. No sure it was no longer a danger, I decided I would wait and see how the successor fared before taking any further action. You determined you were sufficient to serve as lord of this land.
And I guess I passed, huh?
Are you not upset, my lord?
Nothing to be upset about. You never hinted at the fact that you acted in your own interests. That if peace had no value to you, you discarded it. And I always knew there was more than what you were telling me. I'll just say, I'm willing to still be standing here.
Oh. If only knew how close we were to falling on the other side of that line.
Am I really that on edge? Did all the work I put into this?
While you do have a rare aptitude and strength of spirit, you're still much too easily swayed by your emotions. Ergo, I shall continue to instruct you until you're able to fully satisfy my expectations. 'Tis rather curious. So often we speak so great a time together. I come to think of you as my second son.
Don't get all mushy on me, old man. We're not friends and we're not family. I'm a pawn on your board, you're a pawn on mine. Strictly business.
Oh, my apologies. I never said a word.
Right. Never happened. Moving right along. You just keep doing what you do best.
At your service, my lord.
Out of curiosity, do we have any free hands around? People riding a horse?
For what purpose?
There's someone I want found.
Remember, you wish to find my lord. I oblige to remind you that.
You don't even have to finish that. I know. I'm supposed to leave the past in the past.
Let us see then. You may have the hands rather full at present, though we can perhaps arrange for one of them to be reassigned.
Are you sure?
It is a small request. Not once the entire tenure have you requested to use your men for personal matters. I believe you can spare a hand or two on such rare occasions.
Much appreciated.
Shall I arrange for them to set off immediately?
Please. I'm looking for a girl. If she's alive, she'll look around 13 or 14. She has unusual markings on her face.
Markings akin to burn scars?
Barnier once imprisoned her in this manner. He used her as a prop for his banquets, cutting her off from head to toe. My guess is the patches on her face are a result of Barnier's abuse.
Indeed, I know the girl. I presume she had not survived the slave revolt. I take a care deeply about this girl, my lord. Then allow me to offer my sincerest apologies in his stead.
No need to apologize. You'll help me find her, Odilon?
I will oversee the search operation personally to the best of my ability, my lord. I pray the girl is still alive.
As do I. Unlikely as it may be. I'm just chasing after silver of a dream that shattered long ago. That said, if you do find her alive, bring her here without telling her it's at the Lord's order. She likely assumes the old Barnier is after her if you say anything. If she happens to have found a new home where she's happy, just leave her be.
Understood.
Time drifted slowly onward. As we anticipated, there was no news regarding her whereabouts. The new shops and stalls continued opening in the city, but then coming a steady flow of travelers and passing merchants. And as traffic through the city increased, so too did the number of people seeking an audience with me. I was getting busier by the day. My plans to attract merchants and artisans for the capital had worked, and every one of them seemed to have a bigger, more ambitious proposition than the last. My days became a cycle of meetings, reviewing propositions, balancing the budget, deciding whether to proceed or postpone, and all amidst the tumult. My thoughts drifted even further from the poorest of my people. And that's the last of today's meetings. There's no end in sight to this.
That is a good thing, my lord. It means I have succeeded in drawing traffic to the city.
I guess, but still. I need to go back and review all these proposals, so...
Lord Barnier, a moment!
I don't have a moment to spare.
A townsperson requests an audience with the Lord.
You have been instructed to deny entry to commoners.
I tried, but he refuses to leave the gate.
Hold on. What is this man's name?
Sir, he calls himself Gratien.
Oh shit. Is it really him? Let me, by all means.
My lord, you mustn't give anyone special treatment.
Gratien's not just anyone. We've been to hell and back together. He wouldn't be here if it wasn't important. I'm sure hear what he has to say.
No, my lord, you cannot. Your pass is...
He's a good friend. I'm not sending him away. That's not even on the table.
Friend or not, you mustn't give him an audience. You're the lord now, and he's a mere peasant. You cannot be certain you hold himself with proper decorum.
I don't appreciate what you're implying by my friend, old man. He's no goddamn brute.
I implied nothing, my lord.
Keep your consult to topics you actually know something about. I'm not going to stand by and listen to anyone insult my friends. Not even you.
My lord, must I remind you yet again to keep your temper in check?
That's enough out of you. I'm done. Not another word on this subject.
My lord.
Hey, guard, open the gate.
Yes, sir. What's up, Jacopo? It's been ages.
Feels like forever. How you been doing?
Never been better. How about you, kid?
Show proper respect to your lord, peasant. You have to refer to him as Lord Barnier, not any false names he may have responded to while in hiding.
Seriously? You ain't gonna let him kick back for even a buddy?
Enough, Odilon. You can call me by my old name.
But my lord...
I said I heard enough from you.
Look at you, taking charge and barking orders all important like. You're like a whole new man, Lord.
Please, can you use my name?
Dead serious, though. Hard to believe it ain't even been 2 years. Seriously, look like a whole new man.
You think so? I don't feel like I changed all that much myself.
I don't know. You're just what's the word? Emanate lordliness now? Guess it don't take long in the noble's den to turn into one of them. No matter how far down the chain you come from. Look at this room. All these fancy fucking furnishings. None of this is old Barnier stuff, is it?
Nope. With all the meetings I've been having, I need to make sure I had a room that was nice and presentable.
Well, that's one way to put it.
Hey, don't think I'm just throwing around money for the fun of it. If I want any pull in a negotiation, I have to look like I had...
No need to explain yourself, kid. I totally get it. Ain't easy dealing with a bunch of rich folks with sticks up their asses.
I appreciate it. Anyway, what brings you here today?
Whoa, bud. Do I need a reason to visit a friend? Can a guy just want to hang out and catch up? Come on.
I never said that. I'm just extremely busy at the moment. I don't have much time to spare for anyone.
Come on! Don't be such a tight ass. That's exactly why I'm here. Make sure you don't got that stick up there so deep it punctures your brain. Gotta let loose sometimes.
I suppose. Thank you for your concern.
So let's get sloshed, just like the old days. I even brought the booze.
I wish I could, but I don't have the time.
You'll drink with merchants and rich snobs, but not me? Stings, kid. Right to the gut.
See, as pushy as ever. Alright, fine. One drink in the back room.
That's what I'm talking about.
My lord,
Be fine, Odilon. We go back years. There's nothing wrong with a couple of friends sharing drinks after hours.
I do insist, my lord, but a peasant must leave his plate behind. I would not, under any circumstances, allow to be alone with an armed slum dweller.
Yeesh, everyone here needs to loosen up, huh? Seriously think I'm gonna pull a sword on an old pal?
Humor me.
Whatever, fine. You win, old-timer. Happy now?
Yes.
Sorry about that, Gratien. Odilon's always on edge. It's nothing personal.
Nah, it's cool. Can't say I blame him. Oh, let's go get trashed. Brought a little something from that pub we used to haunt. Bet you usually drink way better shit than this now than your friggin' lord. Now that you're the friggin' lord, I can't even speak or I haven't even drunk yet. Like, oh my gosh. It'll be like old times, you know?
This reminds me of the time we had a drinking contest.
Wanna go another round?
I'll have to refrain. Odilon would murder me if I did that.
Sounds like the geezer's got you by the balls, huh? No fun allowed up here in the Lord's house.
Can be rather suffocating, yeah.
You can at least let loose today. It's old times, kid.
The old times. Now, this is a sight I never dreamed of. Two of us here in Aloris Manor, drinking together. We were both slaves when we met, for God's sake.
No fucking joke. You never know what life will bring you. Almost 5 years since then. Not even 20 yet.
I expect we've grown quite a bit since those days. Or are you still running around like a wild boar even now?
Hard to say. I don't think I'm as bad as I used to be. Getting into shit kind of comes with the territory, you know? Slums are still the same as ever.
I see. So how's everyone doing down there?
We're scraping by, as usual.
The rest of the gang? And Maria?
Guys are still lazing around at the pub all day. Mary's rebuilt the brothel and she's getting by as best as she can. Obviously not in the same place, and it's smaller than the old one. But for a chick, she's doing alright for herself.
I'm glad to hear it.
So tell me, kid, you and her totally had a thing, yeah?
Where on the earth did that come from? I believe I already told you. No, we didn't.
It seems like she's about 10 times more worried about you than anyone else. Must have been something. It makes sense otherwise. Maybe she just had a thing for you and never saw it. And you never saw it. I mean, poor girl.
There were no romantic feelings on either side. We were friends. Simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
Have you seen those honkers?
What does that have to do with anything?
Just don't make sense to me. How can a guy only be friends with a chick?
It just means we value certain things in life differently.
You know, you like to do that sometimes. Get all weirdly noble like that. Hey, I didn't mean that as a jab.
Has nothing to do with being normal. Maria's special. We know each other most of our lives. We survived hell together.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that before, didn't you? You two have known each other longer than anyone else? What was it like back then for the two of you?
Before I met her, Maria was raised in an orphanage. She said she ran off because she and the director didn't get along.
Huh, can't say I'm surprised. How about you?
I hardly remember anything from before I came to the city. Just bits and pieces of what my mother told me. Being guarded by a bunch of men, being kidnapped by bandits.
You mean that noble woman? Shame you had to lose her so soon after reuniting, huh?
Indeed it is.
You think it's about time you cut the shit?
Excuse me?
Not a Barnier. You didn't inherit the throne. Just a damn fraud. Ain't that right, Jacopo?
What are you talking?
Finally starting to kick in, looks like. God, you got any idea how hard it was to not throttle you through that entire conversation?
What? It was out of nowhere. My heart rate skyrocketed. My legs started trembling so violently I had to lean against the wall to support myself. The whole world started swirling. I could just barely make out my old friend glaring at me through the fog.
How you like that? Feels like your heart's about to burst, don't it? Don't you worry, kid. You'll be feeling nothing soon.
You
poisoned drinks? Why would you?
Why? You seriously need me to spell that out for you? Huh. You've been stuffing your head with fucking rainbows up here. You wanna know what they call you down in the slums? Jacopo the Betrayer.
I did not betray.
Take one goddamn look at the city and tell me that again. While you're up here treating anyone with a cart and some trinkets to sell like fucking royalty, the slums is still the same rat's nest you left it. No, we're even worse off now. Your new marketplace. Anyone can turn a little bit of money to a big old pile of gold. If you got nothing to begin with, you're just dead in the streets. What you're doing is making the rich even richer.
No, I'm trying. I wanted to explain how I had everything planned out. How I first needed to improve the economy as a whole before I could turn my attention to less well-off. That nothing changing was proof I was protecting them. That the slums have been in danger of being eradicated entirely, and I had stopped it. But I could see in his eyes that nothing to say would convince him. As far as he was concerned, I was pure evil.
You're not the man you used to be.
Gratien, why? I thought you believed in me.
You're damn right I did. Then you went and fed us a bunch of lies. You called yourself the rightful heir. You called yourself a barnier. But I did my digging. You don't got a lick of royal blood in you. All you ever wanted was to line your pockets, you selfish bastard.
No, You
never had any intention of helping us.
Please, hear me out, Gratien.
We were all just pawns to you. The whole damn revolution was part of your game.
I'm begging you.
How's it feel, knowing your throne sits on the backs of all those people you betrayed?
Please.
You don't have any right to call yourself the goddamn Lord.
Gratien!
Hell, you don't have any right to call yourself a fucking man. You're just a rat in fancy clothes. Should have been me. I would have made an infinitely better Lord than you ever were. If I had had that ring, then it could have been me.
So that's what it was all about. In a flash, everything I once felt for this man, all the friendship, the camaraderie, the sympathy, went cold. As much as he tried to dress up this whole farce, that was where his heart truly was. He was just sour about not being the one who got to be Lord. He believed himself superior. He got himself caught up in this stupid fit of jealousy, and now he's trying to kill me over it? That's seriously all this is? Are you listening to a word you're saying?
What was that?
You're the one who's not the man he used to be. And you're the one who's being a self-centered bastard.
Talk all you want, dead man.
Gratien knew. Never resort to using poison. He would have drawn his sword the second he passed through those gates. Faced me like a man. But look at you. Even Barnier had more of a spine than you.
You dare compare me to that sack of shit? Alright, fine. I'll play it your way.
He had a knife heading on him? Instant later, Gratien was brandishing a short blade and snuck it under his clothes, I presume. I was almost amazed at how thoroughly prepared he was. He never had any intention of this going any other way. He hadn't come to talk. He was never going to hear me out. He was here to do one thing only. And undoubted he had any plans for what would have to come next. Raw hatred was all that fueled him. He wouldn't take my place after killing me.
He wouldn't work himself to the bone to ensure the city kept running. He didn't give a single damn about any of that. You're scum! I won't be taken down with some worthless, self-absorbed rat. Nothing I've ever tried had been enough to best Gratien in combat. That was when I was at my peak. Not the myriad needles of poison prickling my every pore. Barely able to stand under my own weight. Still, I had no intention of surrendering my life to this cur. Took a deep breath. Clenched my teeth. Shouted at my shaking limbs. Move! 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 Move, damn you! My fingers. I could feel them again. Before the thought finished passing through my mind, my hand reached for a blade. Grasping the rapier hanging from the wall, I swiftly drew it from its scabbard. It was a decorated blade, not meant for combat. It would probably bounce right off of Gratien's muscular chest. But there was one place it could target.
Rot in hell, you son of a bitch!
Knife in hand, he lunged at me. Just moments before death befell me. My vision, blurred by the poison, grew unbelievably clear. Gratien almost appeared to be moving in slow motion. I wasn't sure my mind had ever been so clear, so sharp in battle before. The dying embers of my fading life burned anew into a blazing inferno. Grrr! All up my fiery Barnier. This one was over in an instant. Before I had time to breathe and even blink, it was settled. In that same instant, everything I built up with this man turned to dust. I never once defeated him. For as long as I'd known him, I was always number 2. And now, for the very first time, I won.
Why did it have to be you there? And not me.
The blade of rapier in my hand skewered at Gratien's throat. His mouth flapped open and shut like a fish. He glared at me, face twisted in a mixture of hatred and agony. Sputtering fragments of contempt until the light drained from his eyes. My first victory against my old friend also took his life. It all happened in the blink of an eye. Hardly enough time to even register in my mind.
My lord, was all the commotion? But what happened? My lord, please stay with me. Were you poisoned? Is someone there?
Yes, sir.
A doctor, as quickly as you can.
Aye.
My lord, please, my lord. A doctor will be here shortly. Please, stay with me just a little longer. My lord. Hold on. You were right. I was stupid. I should have listened. I thought he was my friend, but he wasn't. Not anymore. Because we have once been friends. That made him my greatest threat. I can't breathe. My blood feels like it's made of magma. My throat burns. My skin is like it's being eaten away. Who's there? Who's there? Why are you laughing? Answer me!
How does it feel, boy? Did it all went exactly as I said it would.
What? How about
That you wouldn't be able to trust anyone.
You're dead.
The worst is yet to come, boy.
Silence!
You could work yourself to the marrow of your bones, and still the people would never look beyond the surface.
I said enough!
Listen, you can hear the scorn in their voices. They're calling you a tyrant, a soulless monster. I know you can hear them.
They are not.
They say you're no better than me, that you're a foolish ruler who cares not for his people. They shout an endless cacophony of discontent.
Shut up. Just shut up. I am nothing like you.
Can you then remain a virtuous leader, no matter how bitterly your people despise you? Is your love for them so truly so resolute?
No.
No. The virtue you brandish was never so selfless. Tell me I'm wrong, slum rat. It's not benevolence that drove you to take the throne, but thirst for power, for prestige.
Not another word.
Do you know what truly brought you here? You are tired of people looking down on you. You thought you would rather be treated with respect and yet real power. You wanted it more than anything in the world.
Enough already.
You dedicated your life in the service of others. It was never going to last. Allow me to make a prediction. Soon, very soon, you find yourself drifting over to my side. You stop caring about the people's lives, and for that, they will despise you. You lose any last bit of sense left in you. Push everyone away until you're all alone, and then you succumb completely to madness grip.
Stop talking.
You know how it takes to be Lord of the Land.
I said stop talking.
The people aren't the only ones who aren't on your side. You have enemies everywhere you look. The nobles don't act you as one of them. They try to drag you off your throne by any means. Your aides and servants will turn on you. This won't be the last time you ride in the claws of poison. Again. Never you stop being a target of others' loathing. Or will you continue to act like some kind of paragon of virtue, never wavering in your faith in others? How long will your benevolence last? In the face of dozens of attempts on your life?
Shut your goddamn mouth!
It won't be easy, boy. Because you can come from the slums, you face even more, even greater threats than I.
Silence!
I bet that just terrifies you. Drains all the hope from your heart. Well, there's an easy solution. Follow in my footsteps and reign with terror.
Stop talking. I heard enough of your goddamn noise.
You're already afflicted with a great curse, boy. A curse known as the Lord of the Land. It's a curse from which you will never be free, and hence will never be free from me. However much you may continue to regret taking the throne, you can't give it back now. It's not something you can simply hand off to someone else, nor a duty from which you can simply relieve yourself. That anguish and agony and misery it brings you every day will follow you all the way to your grave.
Just stop. Damn it. Keep your blabbling to yourself. You damned ghost.
Go on. Try and make me. Cover my mouth, why don't you? You can't do it, can you? You're too weak to defeat even a mere spirit.
Shut the hell up!
I know precisely what your future holds, boy. You sit upon a throne alone. Not a single person at your side. Not even death will free you from your eternal solitude. For it's not but an empty shell from which you decorate the throne.
Stop talking!
Do you hear that, slum rat? Someone's come for you. The question is, do they act with genuine concern? Can be sure the water gave you is safe to drink? Press the mean to finish you off. If a simple grunt like you could get his hands on poisoned, how easy do you think it would be for the Lord's Consul to procure a substance 100 times more potent? Hell, you don't even have to go through the trouble. You're no more a threat than an insect with its wing torn off. A feeble woman at a crippled slave could plunge a knife into your trembling spine with little effort. Behold the foreign mastermind of the revolution. All this suffering you brought it on to yourself and trying to defy your fate. The nightmares continued. Again and again they haunted me. Every time I drifted off to sleep, there floated Barnyard's severed head, cursing me, mocking me, laughing at me from every direction. As he said it would, I soon began to hear the people as well, endlessly condemning me, deriding me, berating me. I tried to convince myself it was all in my head, but Gratien words told me otherwise. All my old companions called me Jacopo the betrayer, he had said. I wasn't sure how much time had passed. Was it day? Was it night? Was I saying not to tell the difference? Was I even still alive? I had no idea. It was always the same refrain. Every time he appeared. You can't trust anyone. Your friends will all eventually betray you. Try to drag you off your throne. Your people have no faith in you. Everyone despises you. I couldn't even tell anymore. Were those Barnyard's words? Or were they coming from the depths of my own mind? All I knew for certain was that there was no escaping them, and that they were slowly eating away my spirit. My breathing was labored. My entire body felt like it was on this spit being roasted and turned into flames of hell. And at other times, I couldn't stop shivering. I felt like I'd been tossed into a frozen river. Doctors, guards, Odilon. I couldn't tell who was who, but there always seemed to be someone standing at my side. The faceless shadows were anything but comforting thoughts, for Barnyard's ghost constantly reminded me of the threat they posed. I quite certainly wailed like a terrified child. Everyone seemed like a danger. If even Gratien couldn't be trusted, who's to say the doctors weren't sneaking poison into my medicine? Who said Odilon the implant silently removed me? I didn't know who I could trust. Or maybe Barnyard was right. I couldn't trust anyone. Still, he cackled. Still, he cursed, right by my ear. There isn't a soul left in this world who wouldn't betray you, he whispered, laughing away. My fever seems to be receding. I can finally move again. Looks like I survived. Hey, is anyone there? Where are you, Odilon?
Lord Bonnier, I'm so glad to see you feeling well again.
Thanks.
We've all been worried sick. Lord Bonnier.
What?
Oh, pardon. You just seem, not quite yourself. But after all that's happened, I suppose that shouldn't be a surprise.
How long was I out?
3 days, sir. Poison kept you bedridden for 3 full days and nights.
That long, huh? Then I got a lot of work to catch up on.
Yes, sir. But I implore you to take things easy for these next few days.
When do I ever have time for that? Now where's Odilon? Haven't seen him. Go fetch him for me.
He is presently...
Don't tell me he's not around. Where the hell did that old man get off to?
No, he is here. Please, Lord Bonnier, try to remain calm. Odilon was...
Odilon!
My lord, is that you? Thank heavens, you're well.
Forget about me. What happened?
My deepest apologies.
I don't want an apology. I want you to tell me why this happened.
Please, my lord, distrust not of this simple old man.
Why? Odilon. The Odilon I know would never deign to put himself in front of a gang of slum dwellers.
Please, Lord Bonnier, try to remain calm. Odilon was struck in the head with a stone and is in critical condition.
The following day, that is, the day after Gratien poisoned me, a dozen people from the slums showed up at the manor's gates. They cried in angry protest against their lord, demanding change. Evidently, Gratien had kept word of my deception to himself, so in addition to their other complaints, they shouted I was a fake, that I wasn't actually nobility. They threatened to reveal my secret if I didn't do something about their living conditions. As the commotion dragged on through the day, people within the manor started getting restless. Eventually, it got to be so tense that Odilon stood near a window. I told him they need to cease immediately, that he wouldn't. They would be charged with lèse-majesté, which is when he was hit in the head with a rock and lost consciousness. God, you damn fool!
I'm quite pleased to see I've recovered enough to show her such vigor. Now I needn't worry.
Wait. Slow down. Worry about what?
Regrettably, it would seem old age has bested me. I think the stone must have gotten my eyes. For I cannot see you there, my lord.
I'm right here. Please, don't give up on me. You're stronger than a stupid rock. Give you a few days and you'll be back to perfect health. If your sight doesn't come back, you can still do your job. I can tell you everything I see. Come on, Odilon.
My sincerest apologies.
Please. Why don't you even go try and talk to them yourself anyway? Whatever happened to acting only your own benefit? What do you have to gain from not having them executed on the spot? They were riding in front of the Lord's manor. You had no reason to bother warning them. There's no question they were committing a serious offense. Why don't you just do what you always do? And then I would argue with you about it like I always do. What the hell got into you, Odilon?
I suppose I must have softened up somewhat.
Excuse me?
You care so much about your friends in slums, my lord, that I took pity on them. Old age seems to weaken more than just the body. How truly inconvenient.
Odilon,
Nevertheless, I am glad this old body had until today. What are you? I've not been able to pass on peacefully. I don't see you recovered from the poison, my lord.
stop it. Don't talk like that. I told you. You're stronger than one damn rock. I'm your lord. Damn it! My word is the law!
It is with great regret that must defy my lord's command.
Enough. I mean it. You stop this right now!
My warnings against being swayed by your emotions remain unheeded, I see.
And who the hell's fault do you think that is? Huh?
You're the Lord. The sooner you learn to control the blaze, the smoother your future endeavors will proceed. Do not allow your days to be cut short as well in a moment's weakness. I implore you to always remain strong and ever high of heart, so none may drag you down. Put that upon me. My hands are shaking dreadfully.
I didn't think anything scared you.
It terrifies me to know I'll be leaving you alone. Before, I was there to teach you everything. I cannot bear knowing that forsaking you but the onset of a great and perilous journey. There's much more I have yet to pass on to you that you need in order to become a great ruler. So much.
Then don't go. Stay and teach me. You said you wanted to fill your duty as consul. That you didn't want to die until you had accomplished something worthwhile. You can't tell me you're satisfied with this. Odilon. Odilon? Odilon? Don't do this. You can't. Say something. Please. Say anything. Tell me it's all a cruel prank. Odilon!
Lord Martin, yeah.
Odilon is dead. Make arrangement for a funeral.
Yes, Lord.
What happened with the riot?
They fled soon after striking Odilon. I wager they returned to the city.
Thank you.
Do you like something done about them? No.
I would. They need to understand that their actions have consequences. They slandered the Lord and murdered his consul. We can't just let them walk away from that now, can we?
Then we will have them all arrested and thrown in a dungeon.
I said there would be consequences. If we just slap them on the wrist, they will come back and do it again. They will mock me, condescend me, ridicule me, keep making a mess of my home. Tell me, do you feel safe serving a Lord whose people neither respect nor fear him? Would you have any admiration for a leader like that? Have them executed. Since Odilon isn't here to advise it, I, Lord Barnier, officially order every spark of opposition is to be snuffed out. You'll find every last one of the rats and will leave them with their heads. And then put them on display in the city square. Make sure they know damn well exactly what awaits anyone who opposes Lord Barnier.
Yes, Lord.
Lord Odilon's blood was on my hands. My inexperience and naivety had gotten him killed. It warned me, again and again that my people had no love for me. I ignored them, foolishly believing in friendship, letting Gratien into my house, ultimately getting Odilon murdered. My trust didn't belong with Gratien or my old slum companions. It belonged with Odilon. I should have realized so much sooner. They was the one and only person that left I could trust. Men whom I had spent years had likely participated in that riot, men whose names I knew, whose faces I recognized, with whom I had spoken on countless occasions. I felt like not even a pang of regret in ordering their deaths. I did reminiscence about the good old days. Those days were gone, irrelevant, meaningless. I felt no sympathy for the people they were leaving behind, nor did I desist so much as bat an eye. When I saw their bodies line up before me, compassion bred weakness, made you vulnerable. I had to exercise every last bit of it. It was the last thing I needed. For I was the Lord John Francis Barnier.
Hey, look at all those heads.
Supposedly they were beheaded for trying to assassinate the Lord.
That seems like a lot of faults for an assassination attempt.
You can say what happened up yonder.
Have you been down to the square today?
I have. My heavens, I almost passed out at the sight of it.
Why would those stupid thugs try to go after the Lord anyway?
There's been whisperings around town. They say it was actually born in the slums and isn't a noble at all.
Wasn't that just his cover while he was hiding from the phony Barney?
I certainly hope that's the case. But either way, it's probably best to keep quiet about the topic.
I'll say. I doubt he'll do anything as bad as Bonnie, but it still brings back bad memories.
And things are getting to be so pleasant, too. What is this? Some kind of sick joke? Fucking Gratien's right at the very front. And the other guys he used to hang out with at the pub. Did you kill them all, Jacopo? You killed all your old friends? Why? What the hell, Jacopo? You would never hurt anyone. What happened to you? You went through hell with these guys. How could you just fucking murder them? Have you really changed that much? You have. You have, Jacopo. You've become a completely different man. No, you're long dead. You died in that goddamn revolution. The Jacopo I know no longer exists. All that's left is Lord Barnier. Everyone, they're all gone. You, Morgana, Jaren, Gratien, every last one. What the fuck, man?
I appointed a new consul shortly after Odilon's death. It was a an effectual, short-sighted oath. To top it off, he had a tendency to simply nod and agree with anyone and everyone rather than express any opinions of his own. If anything, having him around my job more difficult. It was as though there was anyone else competent enough to take the position. Leaving him so soon would come with his own crop of problems. So I ended up using him to shuffle papers and handle other menial work while I took care of the actual decision-making. The first order of business to establish clearly defined rules and punishments. Speaking ill of the Lord, spreading false rumors about his lineage, creating art of any form which could be interpreted as defamatory. These are all considered acts of lèse-majesté. In the most severe cases, were potentially punishable by death. I started seeing results almost immediately. The people stopped claiming I was a fake, that I came from the slums. The Barnier name became a symbol of fear once again. My renovation efforts proceeded as originally planned. The city flourished as a commerce hub, attracting merchants and patrons and visitors from near and far. Some fields had to be removed as well as to accommodate the expansion of the marketplace, but they were hardly producing anything worthwhile to begin with. If farmers wanted to keep farming, they were free to move somewhere elsewhere. I scaled down the size of the salons while scaling up security. Lacking leadership, but little remained of the peacekeeper group had turned into a gang of unruly thugs. So rather than keeping the peace, they largely made things worse. In response, I forbade the formation of unauthorized organizations within the slums. With all of that in place, the city was much safer and more orderly. The economy significantly stronger than it had been under my predecessor's rule. However, those unfortunate not to miss riding the wave of economic growth found themselves falling even further behind their neighbors. The ravine between the poor and the wealthy had become nigh uncrossable. My old man was hardly a bastion of safety either. Not only was I rapidly enacting new policy, laws were stricter and punishments harsher than before, so many were, to put it lightly, more than a little displeased with me. I'd gone through several food tasters, just as many direct assassination attempts. It wasn't particularly difficult to avoid major incidents by simply suspecting everyone, but I could seldom relax as a result. In time, I came to prefer solitude. Well, not so much prefer, as required for my own safety. Odilon's death left me with more than just solitude, though. The phantom slipped free from my dreams, appearing from my shadow whenever I was alone, laughing endlessly.
What I tell you, boy? You control them with fear just as I did. It's a wonderful feeling, is it not? The look of terror on a man's face is the most aggressive thing in all the world.
Silence, you!
Stand by the window and listen. You can hear them, all the way to the bottom of the hill. Bemoan the great and terrible Lord Barnier.
Be quiet!
You know who their cries are about? It's not me any longer. It's you, boy.
Shut up, goddammit!
Don't fool yourself. You know better than me.
Enough! I said silence, spirit! I am nothing like you!
Is that so? Then tell me, boy, how do we differ?
I don't hold those disgusting banquets for one, nor do I torture slaves for my own sick pleasure.
By your command, 100 slaves are being worked so hard it will surely spell their deaths. That's any different than murder or torture. Their deaths
aren't meaningless. They're giving their lives for the good of the city.
In your eyes, perhaps. But how many would take your side?
You have no idea what you're talking about.
If the people were truly satisfied with your rule, you would be holed up in this room all the time. Have no one you can open up to. No one to offer you companionship. What better proof of your tyrannical ways than your own isolation?
Shut your damn mouth!
You wretched man. How many times have you been betrayed? Have you found anyone you can trust after all your old friends proved you couldn't even count on them?
Oh, for God's sake, quit babbling already!
Solitude would be a constant companion for the rest of your days. And should you let your guard down for even a moment, know that 100 men lying in wait, ready to plunge their blades into your back. Your attendants dream today they can sneak poison past your taster.
Shut up!
Ah, you poor, pathetic child. How much misery and stress had you brought upon yourself because you let your dreams run amok, clawing your way into a world much, much too big for you?
Be gone, damn you!
My lord, I heard a huge crash. Lord?
How many times do I have to tell you to stay out of my chambers?
Forgive me. I was afraid you might be in...
I can take care of myself, damn it! Don't make me say it again.
Yes, sir.
To hell with you! We're nothing alike. I'm making their lives better, not worse. I'm not a tyrant. I started relying on alcohol to rid myself of the phantom. When I was drunk enough, I didn't have to see anything. I didn't dream, I didn't have nightmares. Most importantly, I didn't have to think. There were times I couldn't be sure whether I was in my right mind. There were times I was so panicked I wanted to scream my throat raw. There was never a time I was safe showing that weakness. I knew if my experience would only put me at risk. I couldn't complain to anyone. I couldn't ask anyone for help. I couldn't believe in anyone. Odilon's dying words came back to me again and again. Stay strong, never high of heart. What do you mean to be high of heart, Enbo? Certainly I had nothing to be proud of. Not having spent my early years a filthy, impoverished slum rat, not having spearheaded a violent revolution and stolen the throne, not this farce of a tale about me secretly being a noble. I hadn't been raised to be a lord. I had been taught to have a proud, noble spirit. That was like what Odilon had wanted to impart upon me. The nature of a ruler. People automatically respect a man who is truly dignified and noble. They instinctively admire him, yielding out of wholehearted honor. And that's what makes a true king. Not knowing the first thing about how to be that kind of man, I fell back on the only alternative that came to mind, forcing them to kneel beneath my iron fist. 2 years under Odilon's tutelage was nowhere near enough to instill in me the natural nobility I needed. Thus was I left to be tormented by this accursed phantom whenever alone and played ruthless ruler elsewise. In my attempts to mask the fear lurking within, it grew louder and more ostentatiously contemptuous. Practically every other word out of my mouth was an insult. The old Jacopo was long gone. Lord Barnier had crept in to take his place. It was gradual enough that I hardly realized what was happening. But now, all I see in the mirror was the face of a cruel, wretched man. I even came to hate my old self, think him foolish. What kind of vapid, nebulous dream was I wanted to go out into the world? What basis did I have for thinking myself of any more significant than any other kid on the streets? And where the hell did I get the idea that having influence meant having freedom? I could barely even take care of myself. Where did I get off on thinking a little power let me protect the people I cared about? What about now? What fundamentally did I even want now? What I had to protect? Nothing. I was too far gone. There's no light to be found no matter how far I march into this path. Only bottomless abyss waited at my back. I left myself with nowhere to return to. Before I knew it, nearly 4 years had passed since the revolution. By then, not a soul dared defy my will. I was surrounded by people who supported my every decision. Few of them generally agreed with me on everything, obviously, but no one could deny how much growth I had brought about. So long as I continued to produce results, I would continue to have their outward support. At a trading hub, the city flourished, but the citizens were less than thrilled about the work I was doing. The poorest, especially, seemed to hold a great deal of enmity for me. I was reaching a point where I couldn't manage on the support of the upper crust alone. Simply dumping sacks of coins into the streets wouldn't end poverty, though, and increasing taxes on imported goods would undermine everything I built up. Lacking an actual solution, all I could do was work to make them feel like they were better off than they actually were. Fortunately, it was much easier to pull the wool over the middle. The lower class's eyes, there was the better educated upper class. I started by building public recreational facilities, which citizens had public priority access to. And then I turned my eyes towards religion. About a year earlier, as part of the city's expansion, a bridge was built across the river that served as the city's effective border. A church had still not been established in that new district, so I wanted to build one and gather a following. Conveniently enough, my predecessor had been in the process of building a second manor on the other side of the river. With a little bit of work, it could easily be repurposed into a church. Once people started making use of the church, it would be simple to win their favor by making myself known as a generous patron. Faith was the ultimate blinder for the uneducated, and history showed time and again that religion could be a powerful tool in the right hands. But the high foreigner and merchant population in the city meant that no one particular religion had managed to take hold. The merchants especially tended to develop their own individual philosophies over the years, with few care much for higher powers. That was a possible explanation for why the church had never had much sway in this region. There was, therefore, a chance the whole thing would just be a colossal waste of money. However, I recently caught wind of a curious rumor. There was a nun serving at a small church at the far edge of town, who people had come to refer to as the Saintess.
Marie! Come here, Sister Marie!
Oh? What is it? Ah, sorry.
It's like...
Yeah. This should be Pauline. Oh, what is it?
We picked some flowers for you. Take a look. They're so pretty.
Oh, I thank you. They're beaut. Get it away from me.
She actually fell for it.
Hey now. How many times do I have to tell you it's not nice to trick people?
You're too much fun to tease, Sister Marie.
That's hardly an excuse. It's still wrong. I'm your big sister here, so you need to treat me like...
There's a bug on your dress.
What? No way! Where is it? Get it off, get it off. Someone get it off me.
Just kidding. There's nothing there.
Get back here, you little rascals.
So her name's Marie. Not quite what a vision of the soul called Saintess.
She seeks out orphans to take her into her care, and offers food for the hungry, shelter for the homeless, and rest for the weary.
Where exactly do the funds for that come from?
She covers all herself, supposedly.
I highly doubt she has that kind of money just sitting around. Look at the building. It's practically falling apart. Wait a second. I get it. She makes use of all the church resources to fund her charity.
That is correct, my lord.
Is she really so foolish I should not realize that's unsustainable?
The locals are quite fond of her, but the same cannot be said of the priests and other nuns. Her work is causing them great financial stress.
I'm not surprised.
Shall I summon her?
No, don't bother. I see more than enough.
Yes, my lord.
What? You have something to say?
No, my lord. If we find it curious, you would take the time to come all the way out here. You have far more important work to attend to. Not that I would ever imply your judgment is anything other than impeccable, my lord.
I just thought the saintess might be someone I knew.
Pardon?
But I was mistaken. They don't call her the saintess because she does God's work. They just call her that because she's a damn goody two-shoes. So much for words having an actual meaning. Christ.
I see. Lord Barnier?
It's nothing. I'm heading back now.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Marie, the giant man's here.
Come on now, be polite.
Good day, Marie. The kid seems to be doing quite well.
Oh, you have no idea. In fact, let this little heel found himself a whole bugs. Thank goodness, he about scared me out of my skin.
A little mischief is a little good thing. This mine wouldn't be as half as bright as any other orphanage.
I'm not so sure about that.
In any case, here's what I earned this week.
No. I keep telling you, that's not necessary.
But you do accept tithes, no?
Yes, but still.
I know it's hardly enough to cover what you need, but please.
Well, that's not what I mean. It's your money. You should use it for yourself.
I have nothing to use it on. You put it to much better use than I could.
Alright, thank you. But try not to work yourself too hard.
I promise.
Goodness. We really do make a lot in a week. I didn't realize carpentry paid so well.
Indeed. I'm fortunate enough to have found good work.
Maybe I'll leave the church and take up carpentry myself. Just kidding.
You kid, but you would do quite well for yourself. You're strong enough to carry me, at least.
That took every last bit of strength I had.
Who's that man? Even with all the foreigners who get here, I've never seen anyone who looks like that.
He's a frequent visitor to this church. Though he does not appear to come for the charity.
An Oriental, perhaps.
Oriental?
My former consul told me of them once. Vagrants from the Far East who supposedly look much like that man.
How curious.
You may be able to fool the nun, but know damn well no carpenter in the world makes that much in a week. There's something fishy about him. Look into that man. Tell me anything you'll find out about him.
Yes, Lord Barnier?
Now I'm heading back. In addition to the renovations for the church and gathering intel on the far eastern man, I made sure to keep an eye out for any unusual rumors or happenings outside the city's borders. Of all the reports I received, the one that caught my attention was word of a witch who lived by a lake. This lakeside witch supposedly had miraculous powers, allowing her to cure any ailment. An effect was transmitted through her blood. This wasn't the first time I had heard of witch. An elderly woman who prepared and sold medicinal herbs, but I hadn't realized she also traded in miracles. It sounded like a bunch of snake oil to me, but she had allegedly cured a deathly ill young girl, started to make quite a name for herself. But on top of that, it also said the sound of which first cry had ended a years-long drought in the village where she was born. This doesn't bode well.
Why not, my lord?
Try using your damn head once in a while, would you? Two competing denominations forming so close together. You don't see how they could lead to all sorts of headaches? The objective is to unify the people under a single banner, to which I then pledge my support and earn their favor. But it all becomes moot if their fate turns towards this witch. These people do love the heroes and miracles after all.
It is quite an attractive proposition, I must say.
I'm mocking them, you buffoon.
I beg your pardon?
The chance of it growing to something actually worth worrying about are quite slim, but better to snuff the flame out before it spreads than sit back and hope it burns itself out.
Shall I deliver an order for her to cease operation, then?
That would be best. Actually, no. I'll deal with this personally. Just keep your mouth shut and do exactly as you're ordered. Nothing more, nothing less. Understood?
Yes, Lord?
To start, summon the man from the church. A few days later, I was standing face to face with a man in my audience room. He seemed much less personable in person than when I had seen him with the nun. Stone-faced, cold, I faintly smelled of blood. Not I could actually smell blood, and there's an animalistic air emanating from him. That much I expected, though. I knew before summoning him that he was anything but a respectable man. I take it you're the Oriental man who'd been buzzing around at the local church of late. That'd be me, yes. What of it? Who do you think you're talking to, you impudent rat? Show some damned respect. Apologies. I'm not very familiar with the local customs or language. Very well then. You're fortunate I'm such an understanding man. Now, for the reason I called you here. You're the one who killed that car full of slaves 4 years ago, aren't you? So you know about that. Huh. I wasn't actually sure it was you, but now I have confirmation. Since then, one slave of Far Eastern origin has remained unaccounted for. I take it that would be you. That's right. I mean, one hell of a mess out there. Am I here to be punished? That depends how a talk goes. You think I'll go back to being enslaved? You're fooling yourself. I don't need more damn slaves. I certainly don't want you as one. You're obviously not finding any respectable work, being an ex-slave, so take a step in the business of getting your hands dirty, are you not? I assume you're playing cat burglar or something, living off of whatever you can swipe from the nearest unlucky bastard. Correct. Isn't it comical then that you would choose God's sacred house to stretch your legs in, you filthy dog? I absolutely agree. I thought that would get a reaction out of you. It seems you got no bite in you today. Never mind, let's get down to business. You're going to help me out with a little something I'm working on. Help you with what, exactly? Something that's going to make me a lot of money. You lend a hand, I'll make sure you're well taken care of. Along with the church you're so fond of. And the nun you're taking a liking to. The nun of yours has made quite a name for herself. Out in the city prosper, people have started calling her the Saintess. Right about that, she is. The commoners love their heroes and saints. They eat the rubbish right up. But saint or not, you can't simply create food from nothing. Her work is causing financial troubles for the church, is it not? It is, yes. You help me with this, I'm offering you an entirely new church, one where she has complete control to do as she wishes. She'll make it into the biggest church in the city. She'll be able to help even more people, which should truly please her. What'd you have me do? Jumping at the first whiff of scraps, you really are a dog, aren't you? Unlike conversations, they always say they're welcome. Fair enough. Now let's get down to business. Not far from here lives a witch whose blood has the power to cause miracles. Miracle blood? Sounds like a sham to me. You never know. The city sound her first cry brought rain to the land where she was born, saving the whole village from drought. They say her blood has the power to cure any disease. I worry about the veracity of the rumors later. Right now, all I want from you is to capture her and bring her to me. Explain something to me, Lord. You said if it helped you, then I would be able to save more people than she does now. So how does capturing this witch accomplish that? Glad you know how to listen, dog. We'll be turning the blood into a miracle elixir, which you would then distribute to patrons of the church, in exchange for tithes, of course. Selling it, then. Selling isn't quite the right word, but if that's how you want to think of it, by all means. The commoner's beloved saintess, handing out an all-powerful miracle medicine. They'll lap it up. In turn, you'll make a fortune. Exactly. Money you can use to support her church. Be a boon to the city's economy as well. A single witch's freedom is all it costs for everyone out here to come out happy. So what'll it be? Will it help, or will it have to... I'll help. I have no reason not to. Decisive and a good listener. Excellent. Once they capture the witch, where do I take her? I have a mansion set aside where your nun can run a church. There's an observation tower on the grounds. The witch will be kept locked up there to ensure we have a constant supply of blood. Okay. When do you want me to get her? You're just chomping at the bit now, aren't you? I thought you'd hesitate at least a little, but I guess it was foolish of me to presume to understand how a killer's mind works. All the resources I put into investigating you and everyone close to you were wasted, it would seem. Do you even have a conscience? Don't act like you're any different. I assure you I have a conscience. I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't necessary for the growth of the city. No, I mean you're as much a murderer as me. You would never come up with a scheme like this if your hands were clean.
The man's right. You're nothing but a murderer. How deep has the blood seeped into your hands? How many have you killed, claiming their lives necessary sacrifices? And how many more would die for your ambition?
Silent spirit.
That poor, poor wretch. Blessed with the power to perform miracles, only to win the attention of the villainous lord.
It must be done. I will explain myself to you. It's not like the old hag has long to live anyway. What the hell is villainous about having to spend her final days for the greater good of the city? So many lives would be improved at the cost of only one.
You keep telling yourself that, boy. What you're doing is no different than my banquets. You cut from the same cloth as the man standing before you. And the same cloth as me.
Be gone, Phantom. Watch your mouth, dog. Don't you dare insinuate I would ever condescend to your level. Damn it. That's the first time I've shown up with someone else around. At least you behaved yourself today. I'm pretty sure you're smarter than most people I deal with. You won't betray me either. You know how much longer to live, though? Stay. Don't touch until I say so. Oh, quit pounding at me like that. You're the Lord's dog. Stand tall and proud. Alright, here you are. Drink up. Looks like it's safe. I swear, so much work just to get myself a damn drink of water. When I heard about Saintus, that might be you, or someone else. I never did get around to resuming the search after Odilon passed. There's no one around I can trust with such a sensitive task. It's probably for the best if I never do find you. We couldn't go back to the way we were before. Not there's much chance you're still alive. If by strange chance you are still alive, what would you think of the man I become? Several days later than originally planned, the Far Eastern men finally arrived at the mansion. I arranged to meet with them on the uppermost level of the observation tower on the church grounds. About time. The man appeared before me, a burlap sack slung over his shoulder. I had ordered he use the sack, afraid he might be foolish enough to actually drag the old woman all the way here. There's your witch. He threw the bag to the ground, causing the woman inside to let out a muffled grunt.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't sound like an elderly woman's voice, though. The stench. Tell me that didn't harm her, dog. I smell blood. You only instructed me not to kill her. Mistakes were made. Limbs were lost. Damn it. To clean up all the blood I got on me. No one suspected anything. It seemed farther gone than I imagined. I should have been clearer in my instructions. Though I suppose it doesn't matter much. She's not going to live long either way. That you were able to immediately recognize it at the smell of blood says quite a little bit, Lord. You have killed before, haven't you? Enough yapping. She is alive, yes? Of course. Finding back a sigh, I tossed my gaze from the man to the bag. I felt slightly sorry for the woman, but the feeling didn't last long. I've seen too many bloody, mangled bodies, both dead and alive to be faced by one more. He crouched down to untie the bag. And a young girl came tumbling free. It can't be. As soon as I saw her, I knew exactly who the girl was. It had been 4 years, but no length of time could wipe from my memory those patches on her face, or those breathtaking golden eyes. But why? How? What was she doing inside the bag? Why had I ordered her captured? How could I have done that? Morgana? She was pale as death, shaken visibly. Confusion seized me. A cloud of swirling darkness forming before my eyes. The first thought that came to mind was that I had gotten the wrong person. I only ordered her captured because I thought the witch by the lake was an old woman. If I'd known she was a young girl, let alone her, I had never given the command. Those thoughts led nowhere. I was simply trying to avoid facing reality, trying to place the blame on anyone but myself. I couldn't take back what had already been done. I couldn't change it. There she was, the girl who once won my affection, lying in a ball on the cold stone, arm missing. It didn't matter how we had gotten here, or what I had felt about her. There was no fixing what I had done. She looked up at me, at the source of the muttering above her. Her eyes were open, almost frighteningly wide. They wandered aimlessly, unfocused to the point I wasn't sure she was seeing anything at all. I felt a tinge of madness in her.
Is that you?
The words spilled from her lips, so soft they barely reached my ears. Hardly a trace of the beautiful singing voice from my memory remained. It was hoarse and raspy, every sound seemingly laced with an unfathomable, deep, pitch-black hatred for all existence. You remember me? Would she even be able to recognize me anymore?
How could I have forget?
Morgana, she remembered me? The days we spent together. What kind of person I've been. The boy had refused to give up putting ointment on her face. All our friends, those horribly unromantic encounters at the graveyard, her taking shots at me, me taking shots at her. Did she really remember all the time we had shared?
How could I have?
What?
How could I forget the blood
What? What was she talking about?
leaving scars on every inch of my body wasn't enough. You haven't had your
I couldn't even begin to process the words I was hearing. They were little more than angry, meaningless shouts crashing into me. What the hell was she saying? Did she think it was someone else? You think it was him? It was Barnier? No, Morgana. That wasn't me. I wasn't the man that caused you so much agony.
Look at the girl. You claimed you hadn't caused her pain.
You really did. Let me up on the ledge and then try to. I haven't forgotten you even for a moment.
No, I was the man who rescued you from him. I wanted to shout, but I couldn't gather the strength to force up a single word. Only grasp of air came from my lips. It was like I had been robbed of my voice.
I don't care how much my fellow creatures forgiveness. That's the one thing you'll never try. I despise you all my soul. I revile you with every fiber of mine. For every scar you carry. I give you a lifetime.
No, Morgana! And if I managed to produce a sound, it was barely more audible than a whimper. In a frenzy, I made out to reach out for her. I noticed the pain of narrow eyes glaring at me. I was not aware you knew the witch, Lord. Huh? Know her? I don't just know her. She's Morgana. She's the girl I...
This man, the Lord, he destroyed me, mind and body.
No,
She's not wrong.
that was another man.
You have become that man to her.
I am not Barnier.
Do you hear yourself, boy? You're the rightful heir to the Barnier's name, are you not? That's why you said when you stole the throne from me.
This man ruined my life.
How will you respond, boy? We say it wasn't you? Can you say it wasn't you? How will you convince her? She's clearly not in her right mind. Will she even understand if you reveal the truth? Can you do that? Do you want to make it through to her? We're turning into nothing more than a slum rat, a usurper. That you deceive her your way into power. That everything you built up over these years was all a lie. That you killed your former friends for nothing. That Odilon died for nothing. That you endured betrayal after betrayal for nothing. Do you have the spine to say it, boy? All the sacrifices you made, all the pain you suffered to make it here, could all come crumbling down the moment you do. What will it be, false lord? Is the girl worth it? Is sharing the truth with this half-dead girl on the brink of madness worth losing everything you worked so hard to accomplish? Make your choice.
What's the matter, Lord? Yes, I know her. Or I knew her years ago. I see. What do you want to do then, Lord? You look sick. What do you want to do? Obviously. Why? On Earth, this doesn't change anything. We lock the witch up and proceed as planned. Did I make this choice?
Congratulations, boy! Thus conclude your inheritance of the name Lord Barnier.
Morse.
It wasn't until I lost everything that I truly understood just how blessed I am. How much my time with them had allied my wounded spirit. And how hard they had worked to mold me into an ordinary girl. But that was all gone now. I may not have said as much, but I was quite fond of the tranquil. I didn't want to lose. I wanted to be happy as much as anyone. I've lost track of how far I had walked. When my legs were stiff, and my knees didn't want to bend anymore. It took all my effort to be right. And I was certain I would never get back where I did fall down. I still couldn't wrap my mind around what happened. It was all so sudden, all so horrible. It was mind-boggling, horrendous. Part of me refused to believe it was anything more than. And that was what kept me walking. Because I did accept it as reality. I would lose what remained of my will. It was supposed to be a party. The girls got together to celebrate my birthday, making food and treats that would hardly extravagant, were still a significant importance over what we usually. Everyone was laughing. Part of me was irritated by the whole, as I had never been comfortable in such a lively environment. They were celebrating me. My birthday. I should have been overjoyed. Maybe this was my punishment for being so unappreciating. As soon as I stepped out, bandits raided the brothel. Had I stayed there but a few minutes longer, things likely would have turned for the worse. Rather for better or worse, I couldn't begin to guess. But I could have gone with them to the next life. During the raid, a man grabbed me and I lost consciousness almost immediately after. When I awoke, I was in a foul-smelling carriage. People were packed into the carriage like livestock. There were dozens of them, every inch of usable space filled with a body. Looking out across the camped space, I knew instinctively I was on my way to become a slave. Once I had been sold off as a saint, a highly valuable community. But this time around, I was cheap, expendable labor. I was filled with an overwhelming emptiness as the realization struck. Something resembling sorrow wavered about in the void as well. But it wasn't a sadness for my own predicament. It broke my heart knowing I would never see them again. That everyone I had to thank for all those warm, peaceful days had either been killed or sold off. In time, the sadness swelled to form tears in my eyes. My whole life I had managed to bear without crying. And the first time I did, I shed tears for someone else. The man sitting next to me asked, "Why are you crying?" To which I answered, "I'm sad because I can't show my gratitude to people very deep." But if it had been our conversation, I wouldn't be here. Hobbling down this endless I wouldn't be covered in so much blood. Sometime after I had responded, the man suddenly stood up and murdered the guards and slave traders. At first, the other slaves thought they were saved, and for the moment, I believed it too. He was a very his eyes smaller and narrower than ours, his nose a different shape. I had never seen anyone who liked him before. All I knew was that he wasn't from here around here. The man wielding a sword stolen from the guard, searching through the slave trader's clothes for the keys to our shackles, which he gave to me. It made me free his hands. Before proceeding to kill the slaves, I showed anguish as the massacre unfolded before me. Blood pooled at my feet. Severed limbs were strewn about the carriage. Bodies piled up haphazardly many having only had enough time for their eyes to go wide in shock before being cut down. Men, women, children, everyone equal at the end of his bait. The strange-looking man laughed at his slaughtered slaves. He laughed and he laughed, like he was having the time of his life. And when he was done, he stepped out of the carriage and wandered off, leaving me alone, the sole survivor. I have witnessed so much death in so short a time. Cruel, meaningless violence. Its victims powerless to resist. And here I stood among the bodies left alive. For some inexplicable reason left alive. The screams, the despairs, the pleads, the deaths, laughter. All reverberating around my brain. O Father, who art in heaven, please give me your mercy. I cannot take it anymore. I pray. Free me from this. My spirit was about at its breaking point. I still was certain that I would sink into the bottomless abyss if I kept all these emotions inside me much longer. I walked and walked and walked. No food, no water, my exhaustion at its peak, my mind in a complete. When, off in the distance, I caught sight of a lake. Oh, thirsty. Water. I began hobbling in the general direction of the lake, not caring that it took me off the main road. Bandits could have assessed. Wild animals made me their prey. None of that mattered to me. At least then, I wouldn't have to walk anymore. But for better or worse, I made it to the lake, unmolested. The water was clear as crystal and seemed to sparkle. Here am I like no one as well. As soon as it was within reach, I dropped to my knees and drank, my thirst seemingly insatiable. The blood covered me. I dried several days earlier, but its bitter stench lingered. So after a brief glance about my surroundings, I washed myself. The chill of the mid-winter lake water, and occasionally gusts of pierced me to my very bones. No one in their right mind would bathe in this way. But common sense and chattering of my teeth didn't stop me. I wanted only to be clean again, and the frigid water felt like it would strip everything away, leaving my body and spirit new, soiled. Once I was satisfied, I came to the belated realization that a small college sat on the lakeside. There's smoke coming from the chimney. There's someone inside. It could be someone bad though. Maybe it would be safer to stay away. But who knows when I might find someone else.